This was a game I played in '97. I was black against Rasul Ibrahimov, who later became a grandmaster. And this was an important game in Kasparov Cup that was happening in Moscow. So I was black, was e4, c5, c3, d6. As I showed earlier, this is what I used to play. So d4, knight f6, bishop d3, knight c6, knight e2. It's a very normal setup. White is just stopping bishop g4. And g6, castle, bishop g7, h3. Very natural way to develop for white. Castle, bishop e3, and I went b6. Knight d2, bishop b7. So it's clear that white is slightly better because he has the center and he has a very natural way of development. So here my opponent played a good move, a3. So he's trying to gain some space with b4. And I didn't find a better move than e5. Thinking about me nowadays, I would not play e5. I would probably try to play with e6, you know, something like this, just to try to equalize the game somehow. Because although I'm a bit passive, I still, there's only one open line, and maybe I can just kind of reshuffle my pieces and slowly equalize. But I was 15 years old and I thought, oh, let's play e5. So he went d5, went knight e7, and he went b4. And now I started getting worried because I thought a4, a5, maybe if I go slowly, he will just play with f3 after f5. And I've played an interesting idea, which I want you to find.
So here, this bishop is
Yes.
blocked. So some idea with bishop c8 and try to push f5, f4 could be an idea. Also knight h5 comes into my mind, always with the same idea of f5.
Yeah.
So to me, this seems a bit the direction where to go.
Okay. Well, in the game, I thought that this is all slow with knight h5, and also knight h5. You know, in many cases there is a problem of g4 because knight f4 he will take, bishop c3, then probably knight c4 is very strong. Just too. It's a bit too weak, this, and the knight on e7 is not the King's Indian knight. We have King's Indian structure, but the knight is not good. And if I play something like knight d7, first of all, knight c4, I still need to make one move to protect, but something like this, I think I'm just a bit too slow. So I took a practical decision. I took. So he took and I took. I know it does look
Giving a piece.
yeah, it does give a piece. But now the c3 is kind of weak. And it looks like I might get some counterplay. Because if he goes knight c4, can you tell me what I can do here?
Looking at b5, attacking the knight.
Yeah, that's possible, but that's knight a5. It's a bit annoying.
Yeah. So I'm seeing if we can use this bishop in a quick way, but doesn't seem to me at the moment to remove this knight or to give even.
Oh, we can slowly start building the center by e4.
And he cannot take? Ah.
Because of that. And if he goes, take, and d5. And it's close to equality here, because I want to play d4, he has to go for bishop a4, this type of things. Then we take and play d4. It's... I think I have enough play for a piece. Or maybe it was rook b8 here I had to play, yeah, something like this. Then he has to take. And, okay, take on d5, f5. We do get some counterplay. But, so the main value of this sacrifice is the shocking value. Because it seems that white is just a piece up. And my opponent played immediately losing move here, because he was so shocked. But I want to ask you, what do you think white should have played here?
Yeah, this is always hard to play.
This was second best move.
Okay. So again, even in every position where there is material disequality, I would always try to play for activity, to activate my pieces, try to make the best out of them. This knight is so strong here and is threatening many things. So one way would be to try to change it if possible. Doesn't look so easy. I cannot play f4 because clearly this is hanging, but would be a nice way to try to come to fight against the center. I'm looking some knights move. I mean, knight c4 looks...
Yeah, knight c4 is very logical.
Already.
Knight e4 doesn't make much sense, because we take and play d5, and knight has to go.
Yeah.
Black anyway wants to take here. So, what do you think about c4?
The pawns never go back, so I'm always careful about pushing them. So he's actually blocking a bit the center.
Yeah, so that's a good move because of that. Now black
can take on e3.
Takes. And now tell me what black can play, which looks like a very strong move.
Queen g5.
Yes, obviously. Queen g5. And it seems that white losing the e3 pawn. Because if we play e4, then he just takes. Because this is always a problem. When you give this bishop, the king is too weak.
Yeah.
So queen g5, this is what I was thinking is very strong. But white has a very nice refutation of this idea. Not the immediate refutation, but a way to preserve advantage for him.
I know it's counterintuitive, but e5 looks like I'm blocking both bishops. I didn't see that. But maybe the queen doesn't go back from these three.
That's correct.
So rook f...
Yeah, our king h1 takes and rook f3.
Wow. I was lucky, I didn't see all that.
So I will have to give my queen, and I still have some compensation. I mean, it's a difficult position for black, but there is still some play. But I had to, if he found this c4, that would refute my concept.
Yeah.
Yes, rook is here. So this would have been a very strong move, and white would be better. And it would prove that my e5 move was not good. Because I probably have to take on b5 here, because this is just a horrendous position. And then here, it's just better for white. He takes, queen g5, e4. I thought about this position. Of course, not during the game, because I didn't find this idea. Okay, bishop h6, knight f3, queen e7. It's just so easy for white to play. I mean, he has an extra piece and I don't have much of a counterplay. So I can try bishop e3 and f5, but I think with precise play, it's probably winning for white. But instead, he blundered immediately. He took on c5. And now, obviously, after queen g5, this doesn't work.
The queen can go.
So he played something like rook f2. I took knight b3, dc, and I have 2 bishops and 3 pawns and an active position. So I won this game without much problem. So I think the lesson of this game is if you're going to play a move like e5, then you have to sacrifice. So this is from my point, the lesson. And from his point, that you have to not to be shocked. You have to try not to be shocked and just objectively think, what does black want? He wants to take on e3 and play queen g5. Can I somehow trap the queen there? Okay, if I don't manage to see e4, at least I have to see knight c4, just to keep the balance in the game. Otherwise, this sacrifice is just too strong. I think had he seen knight c4, e4, bishop c2, and that taking on c3 is stupid, he would have played it, and the game would probably end in a draw. Because this is maybe a bit too difficult to see, this e4 idea. And I mean, for an IM level of player.
And for when you do such a sacrifice, how should you approach with black, even if you know that maybe correctly white should have something?
It's at this moment you just start thinking practical. Had I seen c4, would I sacrifice? Knowing myself, I would say yes, because it's just there is no potential for black's position. I'm slowly going to lose this game because the bishop is wrongly placed and his play is so easy. At least after me taking, I create some sort of illusion of me being too active. It creates this balance. So from practical point, it's correct decision. But if I was to play this game today, I would never play e5 in this position, because the more experience you get in King's Indians, the more you understand the dangers of just slowly losing the game because your pieces are wrongly placed. The knight on e7 is not placed correctly for King's Indian, and the bishop on b7 is not placed correctly.